When most gardeners see a patch of shade, they see a problem, but our ancestors saw opportunity. In the dappled light of forest edges and under sprawling fruit trees, ancient gardeners cultivated crops that didn't just survive in the shadows, they healed the soil, nurtured life, and fed communities. This guide for botanical bliss takes inspiration from these time-tested techniques. You'll discover 10 ancient shade-loving plants that do more than produce food. They help rebuild soil, boost microbial life, and turn even the gloomiest corners of your garden into thriving sanctuaries. Why shade crops deserve a place in every garden. In traditional gardening systems, shaded spaces were never wasted. Whether tucked under orchard trees or lining stone garden walls, shade crops were carefully chosen to serve both the gardener and the ground. These plants stabilize the soil, suppress weeds, reduce water evaporation, and even support fungal networks that aid long-term fertility. Unlike sun-hungry vegetables that exhaust nutrients quickly, shade crops grow at a gentler pace. Their slower metabolism and fibrous roots help store carbon, hold moisture, and create microhabitats for earthworms and beneficial fungi. In short, they're nature's quiet repair crew. Miner's lettuce, a living mulch with edible leaves, was used by Native American tribes and early settlers in the Pacific Northwest. It really thrives in cool, low-light spaces. This plant spreads across the soil, forming a lush, edible carpet that keeps the ground moist and weed-free. Just sow seeds in fall or early spring and water lightly until established. If you let it flower, it'll self-seed year after year. Mustard greens, the soil-cleansing leafy hero, were well known to ancient Indian and Mediterranean growers as both a food and a biofumigant. Its roots release natural compounds that help suppress soil pathogens and nematodes. In shady beds, mustard grows slower but actually tastes sweeter. Plant it in compost-rich soil and harvest the outer leaves to keep it producing. Swiss chard, often called the nutrient miner, is more than just a pretty face in the garden. With its deep taproot and those striking colors, it's not just ornamental, it's really a soil digger. You know, ancient Greeks would often plant it beneath olive groves, where it could extract minerals from deep layers and return them through its composted leaves. If you're growing it at home, space your plants about a foot apart and remove the older leaves now and then to encourage fresh growth. Sorrel, sometimes known as the perennial companion, was super popular in medieval European gardens, thriving along shaded garden paths. Its sour leaves bring a lemony flavor to your kitchen, and its roots do a great job loosening compacted soil. Once you plant it in humus-rich soil, it just keeps coming back every spring without any fuss. Just remember to clip the leaves regularly and mulch with compost to keep it productive. Purslane, the moisture guardian, has a long history in ancient Middle Eastern and North African gardens, where it was prized for its drought tolerance and high omega-3 content. It does great in partial shade and poor soil, which is kinda amazing. Once it's established, purslane spreads quickly, shading the soil and making life better for the microbes below. Be sure to thin young plants to prevent overcrowding, and you'll have a healthy patch in no time. Malabar spinach is a staple in South Asian home gardens, and while it grows vertically, it actually influences the soil below as well. Its dense roots, encourage these fungal partnerships that really boost soil structure. For best results, plant it near fences or trees in warm, shady spots, and make sure to provide some vertical support. Oh, and don't forget to mulch well and water deeply. Vietnamese coriander, often found in Southeast Asia, is an aromatic herb that was grown not just for its flavor but also for its protective properties. Its roots release these mild antimicrobial compounds that help shield nearby plants. You'll want to start it from stem cuttings in moist, rich soil. Keep it shaded and prune frequently if you want lush growth. Ramps, also known as wild leeks, were cultivated and foraged by indigenous communities in the eastern woodlands. Their presence in the soil builds fungal networks and adds organic matter each spring. The best way to grow them is to plant bulbs in the fall beneath deciduous trees in loamy soil that's rich with leaf litter, and remember, harvest sustainably to maintain long-term growth. Cilantro, the heat-loving shade specialist, is, well, pretty unique. Unlike cilantro actually loves warmth and shade. It's used a lot in traditional Caribbean and Southeast Asian cooking. And it's also known for forming tight root systems that help reduce erosion and stabilize soil. If you want to grow it, plant cilantro in damp, well-aerated beds, and remember to trim the outer leaves to promote new growth. Woodland strawberries, often called the forest's fruitful blanket, are these low-growing berries that were, interestingly, part of ancient European and Native American forest edge diets. When grown under trees or in hedgerows, they act as a living mulch and really help build humus. The best way to plant them is to set runners in compost-rich soil topped with leaf mulch. Just allow them to spread naturally, but keep the older plants trimmed for the healthiest patch. So, if you're wondering how to build a botanical shade bed the ancient way, here's what to do. Start by enriching the soil with decomposed leaves, worm castings, or even forest mold. Shade gardens, honestly, benefit most from fungal-dominant composts and slow-release nutrients. This approach really helps mimic those ancient systems and gives your plants the best shot at thriving in the shade. Okay, so once the bed is prepared, you'll want to plant taller shade crops, like Malabar spinach or chard, near the back. Then follow up with medium-height greens, and finally, finish off with spreading ground covers like miner's lettuce or strawberries. This arrangement helps everyone get the light and space they need to thrive. Water deeply but less frequently. Most shade crops don't like soggy roots, but they sure do appreciate steady moisture. Use mulch, like leaf litter, straw, or even bark chips, to help maintain an even microclimate. Avoid overharvesting. Many of these crops actually thrive when they're only partially picked. Remember to clip leaves or stems gently, allowing the root systems to keep on feeding your soil. The forest never stopped gardening, it just did it quietly, in the shade. These ancient crops offer more than just harvests. They repair, recycle, and renew your soil while producing food, color, and cover in those forgotten corners of your garden. So, next time you glance at that shaded space with hesitation, remember, your ancestors would have planted there. Now it's your turn. If you found this guide valuable, go ahead and subscribe to Botanical Bliss and share it with other gardeners who are rediscovering the wisdom of the forest. Let's bring back the balance, one shaded patch at a time.